I'm not allowing the fact that I feel shitty to determine how I'm going to behave and the actions I'm going to take and my level of discipline in my life. Why would I do that? Like, why am I going to allow myself to completely crumble because one part has? There's plenty of reasons for you to allow that to bring you down, but it's not strong enough for the counter argument, which is to keep your life going because other people are looking at you, man. So what's up?
Chilling, man. It's a new podcast room.
Yeah, facts. New room.
Interesting. Yeah, Jason and I are like
totally indifferent about it.
not need anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, definitely not. It's nice to have the space.
No, it is. Yeah. It's a new space.
Soundboards aren't up, but it's bigger. So you get,
Yeah, bigger, more potential.
True.
Size matters.
A lot of times it does.
Yeah. So what's been up with you lately, man?
Just cried on the way here. What's been up with you?
Just res life stuff.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah.
I'll just update you.
Yeah. What's up?
So Rachel and I broke up, and it sucks, man. It's tough. It's hard because it's the right decision. It's the right decision, and I know that it's what's best for the both of us, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt to rip the Band-Aid off. And I think that's one of the worst parts about having a relationship with somebody that you connect with so well with. It's really hard to have. It's really hard to break up with somebody when you guys connect really well, and that even though you connect really well, and even though you're not getting in arguments and it's not toxic, that you're just not meant to be together. And that's what I'm going through, and I just have to accept that, and you got to move on, and you got to keep living your life. And it sucks because when you break up with somebody, especially when shit didn't hit the fan and it wasn't toxic, and you just break up because you weren't meant to be together, then you have to deal with this serious loss of love. Because you're sitting there, and for years on end, you have this full cup that's fulfilling you for a while. And even if you're not meant to be with that person, it still feels really good to be in a relationship. Like, that's a lot of love, and you're getting that on a continuous basis. Good morning texts, hanging out, just chilling, watching a movie together. It's like these everyday things just all of a sudden disappear overnight. And now you're just sitting there like, well, fuck. And you're sitting there, and when you're on a drive and you don't feel like listening to music and you just feel like calling that person, it hits you. When you're sitting there at night and normally you're on FaceTime with them just bullshitting, talking about your day, and you're not doing it anymore, it hits you. When you're sitting there and you're watching a movie and there's no one else with you, it hits you. And it's like these small little things that you never thought twice about before are now these monumental things that you never understood because you took it for granted because you just didn't understand that you were in a good relationship till you were out of it. And it's like, again, it doesn't mean you're supposed to be with this person, but it does mean, that you're going to have to deal with the repercussions when when that relationship ultimately ends, if it does, because there's a big gap and it sucks. But, you got to pick your pain. It's going to suck either way. So, it is what it is. I don't mean to be fucking depressing.
No. Shut the mic off because of this ringing sound. Ooh, delicious. Okay, but it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a silent struggle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, dude, it's been like what, a couple weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Since, do you feel like? Do you feel like this is the first? Nah, obviously, it's probably hit you a couple times, but it seemed like it hit you pretty heavy today.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I just don't really vocalize it, to be honest.
Okay.
But when I pull up and there's tears in my eyes, it's hard for me to be like, I'm fine. Yeah, dude, I loved her a lot. I love her a lot. Fuck, all right. Woo! All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's just...
Well, I think it's okay to still say you love her.
I know, yeah.
It's not something that goes away overnight,
No, definitely. It sucks. That's all. Fuck. Yeah. I think it's hard because I'm a guy, when I sit here and it's, I have to talk about, mental health and being a good person and working on yourself and still doing things regardless of how you feel. And then this shit happens, and now I'm sitting here and I feel fucking depressed and I feel sad all the time. And like, I still have shit to do. It's like, I can't just sit there and complain. I'm not going to sit there and, bitch about it. There's nothing to bitch about. Like, I've made my decisions. Like, it's on me. And so it's, it is what it is. Shit happens. It's hard. But like, what am I going to do? Just stop everything, put my life on hold, put the business on hold, stop working out, stop doing the things that I know I should be doing.
No, it makes shit worse. Yeah.
So it's going to make it infinitely worse. So it's like,
going through the healing process for sure. Yeah.
I think that's the hard part. Yeah. Is going through the healing process and doing the things that you should be doing that are going to make you better in the long run. Yeah, man. And accepting that in the process, because, it's easy to do it after the process. It's easy to do it beforehand. It's super hard to keep waking up and working out and working on the business and keep your room clean and stay disciplined with the way you're eating and all your other habits that you need to do, when all you want to do is just lay down and sit in your fucking shitty emotions and feel the woe is me mentality, which is obvious. I mean, it's fucking difficult. And like, and who the fuck am I to complain about a relationship that ended? That was a 3-year long thing. It's like, yeah, like, that sucks. What about a 30-year relationship that ends? If your husband or your wife dies. Damn. What about other problems that are fucking worse? Yeah, worse, yeah. And I'm sitting here and I'm crying about it. I can't imagine what other people are feeling. I feel like I'm also at a spot where, like, I have the ability to be tough because I have other things that are going good for me. Some people don't have good things going for them, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah, for some people, that's the only thing they really have,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, though, like, you'll definitely, I mean, this is a part of the process. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, shit sucks, and I don't know what you're necessarily going through right now. But I would like to think you're a strong individual, and you've objectively been through worse. Just based on what you've told me, and I think everything that you're doing in your life right now is to the best of your ability. And I think, like you said, there's only so much you can do before you start to feel those kind of emotions, right? It's like you're trying to put duct tape on a ceiling with water coming out of it, like that water's going to come down at some point, right? Like, but you got to let that water, it's not to say like you're suppressing your emotions in that analogy, but like that water's got to come through, and it's got to kind of, until all that water comes through, you're still going to be feeling those kind of old inklings of, adjusting. And it really just, man, it just takes, I know it takes time, but I think you'll definitely get there for sure.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
It's tough, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I think I asked you this on the car ride over, but like, do you feel like you're in the healing process, or do you?
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, like, first step in healing is grieving. Before you can move on, you got to deal with the shitty emotions. Sit with them. That's it. It's like, I think the part that's really hard is that I've never had a relationship this long before and this healthy before. And then it ended. And so now I'm in a position where I've had relationships end and, shed my tears because of it, but it's not, I've never loved any girl like that before, so it's easy to talk about it and be like, oh yeah, this relationship ended when I was in high school, but we were together for 7 months. So it was, decently long for sure. Yeah, whatever. 7 months is a long time for some people, but 3 years is a lot longer. And a lot more mature and a lot more time invested and a lot, like, I know her family, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's more shit that goes into it. And again, it's like, I'm not trying to throw myself a pity party. I'm just saying, like, when you're a lot more invested into somebody and then that thing ends, it hurts way more. But, it's big poison, it's like,
yeah, because like, you could have never been in this relationship if you didn't want to, of course. And I think that's definitely a fear I've had, and I'm sure a lot of other people have had, because they know, they may or may not know, but they understand that or at least the reason why I am very careful with the investments that I make, say, for instance, in relationships, is because I know say for instance, like you get an animal, right? Like I know I have to care for this animal. I'm going to love this animal. But when that animal dies, I'm going to bring on an immense amount of suffering, right? But that suffering is worth it to me.
Right.
Because you're willing to make that investment, right? And it's that's not a parallel example with, you know, getting a relationship.
It is,
you feel like that's going to last forever, right? And you won't necessarily lose that until possibly the day they die.
Right.
The day they die.
Yeah.
But I think that's almost a part of the deal that you make within signing that agreement with, say, for instance, getting that animal or getting in a relationship or taking or having a kid or something like that. Like you're extending part of your responsibility to something beyond yourself. And with that comes obligation to attend to whatever that is. And when especially in situations like an animal or a relationship or having a kid, right? When things like that when great things like that don't necessarily stay in your life, it's gonna leave a huge mark on who you are, right? Because eventually, you know, your habits, your behaviors, your daily values and habits evolve around those kind of areas. So for instance, if I lost you, for instance, God fucking, oh my God, like, I don't know what like saying it now, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be good. But dude, like, I would feel like part of me is lost because we spend so much time together. Right. We do so many things together, and I've invested so much in you, and you've invested so much in me, right? Like you're an obligation to me. Like you're something that I want to see grow, and vice versa, right? 100%. And so in that, whether you say this investment, right, it's such a great thing that brings so much benefit, but we almost don't see it because it's so habitual. Mm-hmm. But I know if I lost part of who I was, it would cause this kind of dissonance in me, this kind of space, this kind of emptiness that it's like, fuck, man, I didn't realize how good that was. And that gap is that suffering. That gap is like your body adjusting to a new behavior that is extremely uncomfortable with. And especially since that feeling is good, right? Like, so you being in my life is a really good feeling, right? Or at least keeps me on track to do things that I really like. Being able to replace that with another behavior, for instance, not having you in my life, is going to take a really long time. So almost like, objectively speaking, like you're losing the habit of spending time with your girlfriend. You're losing that part of yourself that you've done for 3 years now. And that may take it's so deeply ingrained in who you are that it's going to take time for that to be replaced. And these are just the effects that you're feeling right now.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like, it's like, I think the hard part is that I expected it to go the same way that I expected my other relationships to go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I get out of a 7-month thing with a girl, it's not the same as a 3-year hardcore investment in somebody. It's not. Which is not the same as a 30-year hardcore investment in somebody. And I think the hard part is that I have an expectation that I'm going to heal from this relationship the same way I've healed from previous ones when I wasn't as invested as I was in this one. And so I sit here and I contemplate, and I'm sitting there alone when I used to have somebody by my side, and it sucks. Like, it really does. But yeah, it's like I just expect to heal the same way that I already healed. I think this is another part that actually sucks. It's like when this happens frequently. Like I'll be sitting there thinking about my ex-girlfriend, and I'm sitting there with my friends thinking about my ex-girlfriend, thinking about how much I miss her and how much I miss the relationship, and they're all laughing and having a good time, and then they look at me and they're like, why are you in a bad mood? Like, why are you so mad right now? Why can't you just have fun? And I just kind of have to eat it, and I'm like, sorry, like, I don't want to be, that guy, that's bringing everybody else down, but at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like having fun. Like, I don't feel like smiling. And so sometimes it sucks, and it's just something I have to deal with. And luckily I have good enough friends to, rally with me through that I can be honest with and tell them, like, hey man, this shit's just bothering me right now. Like, I don't know, like, I don't want to bring everyone down. I just don't feel good right now. I don't feel okay. And it is what it is. I don't have to feel like I have to be the funny guy or whatever. Like so it is what it is. I think another big part of it is like, most of the time when I'm with my friends, I am that outgoing, super goofy personality. And now that there's a lot of the time where I'm just literally thinking about my ex-girlfriend because I just feel awful after the breakup. A lot of the time they're sitting there and I'm not the person I used to be because I just feel shitty right now. And they're good enough friends to sit there and be like, you know what, it's fine. Jason doesn't have to be that way. He doesn't need to come out and do everything with us like he used to. He can have these couple of months to, grieve and move on and, have it to himself, or to be with us and not be that same personality. But, my heart goes out to those guys who don't have those friends, because I know a lot of people who don't. And like, especially the hard ass kind of guys, like the brute types of dudes, the macho men kind of guys, their friends aren't like that. They're not. They live through the lens of, just you're fine, you're a man, suck it up, move on. And like, that's gotta suck. Like, seriously. Because like, I can't imagine having friends that are gonna sit there and peer pressure me into, having to still be the funny guy, even though I feel really upset and sad and just don't want to be that guy. And so, lucky enough, I have those kinds of friends. Like, I was sitting on FIFA with Mike last week, and I was sitting there, and I was literally just crying. Like, we were playing FIFA, and I just started crying. And he didn't know, but he just knew I was sad, and he knew why I was sad, and he didn't say anything to me. He just let me be. Like, he didn't expect me to continue making jokes and being silly and goofy. He was just there for me and let me be, and like allowed me to be sad. He didn't expect me to still be that funny, stupid, silly kind of goofy guy. He just understood, like, hey man, you're going through it. It's fine. Like, just, it is what it is. And nothing even had to be said. He just sat there with me, and that was it. Period. And a lot of people don't have those friends. And so I'm grateful that I do. And I can't imagine what I would do if I didn't, because what would I do? I would just sit there alone and do nothing until I was happy again. I don't know. So grateful for you. Grateful for Mike. Grateful for Alex, for Matt, for my guys that are close to me. Like, seriously, Lucas. So, yeah, I don't even know how I got there, but yeah.
Yeah, because there's almost like nothing we can say that'll make you feel better. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, obviously, like, when you pulled up in the car today, like, I was in a really goofy, fun, like, I was in our normal kind of, like, I wanted to, start cracking jokes and, like, poking fun at you and, like, be a fucking dumbass. Like, that's what I was feeling. That's what I still kind of am feeling with this squishmallow next to me. But, yeah, like, it's almost, because if I try and, like, if I try to force you to be that way, and I was almost kind of slipping into this conditioning when we first got in here, like, it just doesn't feel right.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing that I got to learn. And,
I'm the same way.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying, but like, yeah, there's almost like you're in a spot right now where, like, as cheesy as it sounds, like, time's got to heal that wound, and it's like, it's tough because, yeah, like you said, man, like, for people that are in that spot of being like, nah, let's go to the bar tonight. Let me try and fix you up with some woman, like, this will make you feel better. Like, or like you said, they're trying to force them to be that guy that they've always known, but they don't want to be that guy. That's the thing. And I think it's so critical to have people, especially that just, because obviously you don't want to feel that way, but you don't feel like being your normal self, if that makes sense.
Right.
And since you know you're this way, and if you try and change to be that person that you've always, your normal self, it's forced, right? It's not authentic. It's not genuine because you're consciously trying to force it. And I think, especially when you allow that to flow through you and you have an environment of people that aren't like pressuring you to do that, like you said, it's very beneficial because it could instead of it taking years, it'll possibly only take months, depending on what you're, grieving about. But yeah, man, like, I think that's really interesting. Like that, you're in a, I mean, it's bad. It sounds bad. Like you're in a spot where, and most of the time, people really can't help you. They're, if anything, they make it worse, but they can also, that sounds bad.
I get what you're saying.
I would say they can provide an environment that makes it better for you to grieve in. But you have to grieve.
Right.
You have to go through that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
Because if you try and, not grieve, the grieving process is only going to be longer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the part that's difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can't really fill that gap after you lose a relationship.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, again, there's a lot of, there's like sad memes about it of like, you go from one day talking about something super deep with somebody and then the next day you're talking with somebody new about what's your favorite color. And it's like, dude, you can't, when you've spent years with somebody and then all of a sudden overnight that person is now gone and out of your life, like you can't just pick up where you left off with somebody new. And that's the part that's so difficult. You have to start over again. There's just no way around that. And that's the part that's so difficult about losing somebody. Because you sit there and all you want to do is talk to that one person, but you can't anymore. You just can't. It's just gone. And like that person knows you. They know everything about you. They know your ins and outs. They know what makes you laugh. They know what doesn't. They know what makes you tick. They know what pisses you off. Like they know everything about you. And now you're going on a date with somebody new that doesn't even know your favorite color. And it sucks. Like it is what, like, period. It just sucks. And so you sit there and there's this huge gap. The question is what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and sulk? Or are you going to get up, do the things you need to do anyways? I'm not saying you got to be happy about it. But like, honestly, like the only thing that's making me feel somewhat better about my life is working on the business, continuing to exercise, continuing to keep my room clean, continuing to eat healthy, continuing to maintain my social relationships to the best of my ability, continuing to golf with my friends when I feel up to it, like trying to maintain everything else, even though a lot of the time I feel awful, and not trying to throw a pity party or try and magnify it, or when I know I need to, work on a Michael Smith video, I'm not going to sit there and be like, but I'm sad about Rachel. It's like, okay, I can be sad about Rachel, but I also know what needs to be done, period. Because I'm going to feel worse. I'm going to feel worse if I don't do it. Like, the shitty part is you're fucked regardless. That's it. Like, you can either not do it and have a frown on your face, or do it and have a frown on your face. Like, it is what it is. Like, to me, it's like, that's the freeing part, is like, you just dispense with the fact that you're going to feel some certain way. Like, it just, like, there's not much you can do about it. I'm not saying that you should just keep working until you feel good. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you know that there's things that need to be done, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't. Like, it doesn't play a role in what you should do with your life. You get out of a relationship, it sucks. What, are you going to stop working out? Okay. And then what does your life look like? Now you're heartbroken and fat. Who wins? Nobody. It's just worse. And so to me, it's like, it sucks, but
got to do what you can.
What are you going to do about it? And that it's super harsh, but
yeah, it's the truth.
But now I'm in a position where I feel like it's like I have more of a perspective of being able to say that, because it's like, I don't, at least I don't think I complain about it, at least not often, because like a lot of times I'm just sitting there and I feel awful. I just, like, it is what it is. Like I can't. What am I gonna do? Again, I don't. There's not much else to say. Like, what am I gonna do about it? I just got out of a long-term relationship. It sucks. It hurts. Yeah. Am I not gonna film a podcast because I'm upset all the time? Am I not gonna work out because I'm upset all the time? Am I gonna stop keeping my room clean because I'm upset? Start eating shitty? Like, the only thing that's gonna happen is my life's gonna actively become worse. Period. And that's what I mean by dispense with your emotions. It's not that you need to invalidate yourself, but if you feel shitty and you feel sad, it doesn't mean You should stop doing the things that you know you need to do to make your life better. A breakup shouldn't make your life worse based on your habits and your actions and your behaviors. It should make your life worse purely emotionally. And if it does otherwise, you're just letting that snowball continue to grow. And it's like, I understand. Like, I fucking get it. Like, it sucks. But like, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Like, what are you going to do?
Because I don't know. I just feel like there's so many people that just try and put on that persona of not allowing themselves to heal. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's so hard to try to force yourself to heal. And it's so easy to put on that mask and be like, oh, let's go out tonight. Let's go hop on Tinder, find a boyfriend, or to give into those comfort things such as shitty foods, talking shit about your ex, hoping that they're doing worse, right? Like things that fallaciously make you feel good based on the comparison that you're making. But I think, especially like I was saying before, that a lot of people just force themselves, excuse me, just force themselves to not be able to heal. And that's something that they just, sorry for making you yawn. It's okay. My apologies. I hope you can heal from that.
Thank
you. They never learn how to grieve. They never learn how to go through that process. They never learn how to sit with their shitty ass emotions, right? And it's like, and I totally get what you're saying, because I feel like if I'm even in that spot where, you know, I break up with a girl, like I even know from my own experience, like the one time I was in like a freaking 3-month relationship, and I remember when I broke up with her, I was like, oh my God, it's like the end of the world. I grieved for like 9 months, right? Because I was like, fuck. And when I say I grieved for 9 months, it was just 18-year-old boy syndrome. Okay. So it wasn't like real grieving like Jay's going through, but like, that little taste, like it really does put into perspective that so many people just don't know how to feel, and therefore they don't know how to heal. And whether that's, you know, society's fault, whether that's parents' fault, whether that's, you know, whose fault that is, their own fault. Like being able to, are you good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like smiling or whatever. Yeah, like whether that's society's fault or the parents' fault, like that is such a valuable skill and trait to have, especially when your peers and your friends around you get what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if they get what's going on, they know the process that you're going through, and they can understand the kind of things and areas that you need to go in order for you to heal. And I think it's just really interesting, especially in group settings, and people just making it way worse than it actually has to be. And I think you nailed it on the head when you said it should only affect you emotionally and not behaviorally. And I think so many times people think like it has to be this general event that blows their life over. Like, no, it doesn't have to be that. Like, yeah, it sucks. Like, yeah, wherever you go, it's going to stick with you.
Right.
But if you're able to still, to the best of your abilities, in those areas, do as good as you can, and you know you're doing as good as you can, like, yeah, you're going to slip up. Yeah, you're going to fuck up. Like when you're at the gym, when you're eating, when you're not being able to, you know, clearly think when you meditate or something like along those lines, right? Like, or you're at work or different obligations on a daily basis, like shit's going to slip up. And it's like, I can't believe you've done such a good job, like not even saying anything over these past couple of weeks. I completely forgot you broke up with her, you know? And it's like, that's something I have to keep in mind. And because I know as a friend, like when you brought up that Mike example, I was like, fuck, dude, I haven't been doing that with you. And it's like, I've been expecting way too much from you. Like, dude, you've been fucking kicking ass. Especially. No, you're good. Okay, listen, mister, I don't know how to accept a compliment. You've been doing really well, man. And I think, like you said, like you've done a good job, at least in my opinion, keeping up with those habits that you know are beneficial to your life. And you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You know, you've done a good job keeping up with those habits. And even though it sucks, even though it's tough, even though it's rough, you've really still putting your best foot forward. And, you know, the healing process is happening. And I think it's definitely tough, man. but you're doing well.
Thanks. Such a pussy.
It's okay, man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true, you know. So like, you really have done a great job, man. Seriously, and I think like regardless of me like trying to push you continuously, like you, it's not like you're suppressing your emotions. You've just shut up and done it. Like, you know what I mean? Like regardless of how you feel, and fucking big props, man. Seriously, I know I can't even imagine like the internal battle you've been going through, you know. And it's like I haven't even noticed it, so. And considering I like to think I'm one of your closest friends that like, like you literally haven't said shit about it, which that's almost my fault for not like keeping it in mind. But yeah, man, seriously, good job, dude.
Thanks. I think one of the big things too, like, because when you even say that, I think about it, it's like I refuse to allow myself, and although it can be my detriment to not talk about it, but I refuse to allow myself to use it as a crutch for something that I don't need to use it as a crutch for. And so as a result of that, I go a little too extreme, and I'm like, and even when I need a couple hours, I just will work through it anyways, when I should just be grieving. However, I would rather take that extreme than take the other extreme of just allowing myself to be crippled by the fact that Rachel and I broke up. Like, you know, I'm an extreme character, but I feel like this is the best choice for me to do, and you know, it is what it is. Like,
True form of grieving.
True.
I don't know. Maybe.
No,
Do you
yeah,
feel
no,
like
definitely. Because it helps me, you know, it helps me remind myself that like I'm gonna be okay, because I can keep working regardless of how I feel. But you know, it's more so I'm not allowing the fact that I feel shitty to determine how I'm going to behave and the actions I'm going to take and my level of discipline in my life, because why would I do that? Like, why am I going to allow myself to completely crumble because one part has? It's like, there's no reason to let it bring you all the way down. Well, retract that statement, actually. There's plenty of reasons for you to allow that to bring you down, but it's not strong enough for the counter argument, which is to keep your life going, because other people are looking at you, man. Like, seriously. And especially, like, you know, especially in the case that I'm in. Like, I started a business before most of my friends. I'm doing the podcast. Like, I'm living a lifestyle where I'm putting pretty much everything publicly out there. Like, my habits, my behaviors, what I'm doing. We're in a podcast room at least once a week, usually, posting content.
Every day?
Every day. Like, you know, a lot of people look up to me for that, which I'm humbled by, because I'm 22 and I'm still flawed as fuck, and I'm still stupid and ignorant in a lot of areas of life. But, like, what kind of character is that to have? Of, you know, you break up with somebody, now you're hurt, so now you're not going to live your life anymore. Like, you got to practice what you preach. But when push comes to shove and you feel like shit, it's when you really test it. So it's like, you got to pick. I'm just not going to, I'm not allowing it to dictate my behaviors, because I look at, you know, like Jordan Peterson talked about it with Michaela Peterson, because his daughter had serious, very serious health issues growing up. And his rule for her was, you're never allowed to use this in a situation where you don't absolutely need it. Because if you do that, you're going to fuck everything up. Because if you're in a position and you're saying, oh, I'm sick, I'm just not going to do this, but you could do that thing, now you're disabling yourself.
100%.
It's not your disability. Now it's on you. And so that's the position I'm taking with this. It's like, yes, I feel awful because I broke up with Rachel. Yes. But I'm not going to allow that to be an excuse when it isn't 100% the reason why I'm not doing something.
So good.
And so, again, sometimes I'm taking that too far, where, like, I do need to sit there and sit with my emotions and just feel shitty and cry or whatever. But, like, I'd rather this. So.
Damn. Shit, bro.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, that's right on the fucking money, bro. Oh my.
The other thing too, and this is super important to me, you know, this is just a PSA for anybody that just got out of a relationship, even if it was a shitty relationship and you broke up and it was toxic, whatever. Do not let yourself or your friends talk shit about your ex. Yeah. Do not. If you allow that shit to happen, your grieving process will never end, because you will never feel okay with yourself, because even after the relationship ended, you continued to talk shit about this person, to bash this person, to try and make their life a living hell because they caused you pain, as if an eye for an eye is what's going to make you happy. I promise you, if you allow your friends to say, fuck that guy, fuck that girl, she's a piece of shit, he's the worst, he's an asshole, even if they treated you poorly, you will never get over that person. Never. And I get it. Like, I'm in a position now where people are coming up to me and they mean well. Like, that's the thing I need to understand. I know they mean well, but they don't understand what they're doing. They find out I broke up with Rachel, and their immediate reaction is literally, fuck that bitch. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, first of all, obviously now know you know nothing about Rachel. You know nothing about how well she treated me. Like, clearly. I'm like, this is a blaring one, because it's like, Rachel treated me perfectly.
She really did, man.
Like, the one complaint that I have, which isn't a complaint, is like, now it's gonna be impossible to find a girl that's gonna treat me as good as Rachel did. Like, that's the hard part. And so, if I'm gonna be in a position where I'm gonna allow people to say, fuck that bitch, you don't need her anyways, you're gonna upgrade anyways, whatever.
Not true. Completely not true.
First of all, completely not true. Second of all, it will completely stunt your growth post-relationship, because all you're doing is A, focusing on your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, but B, you're allowing yourself to stay in the same fucking shithole that you were just in. There is no moving on if you're still complaining about your ex. There is no moving on if you're still talking shit about them. There is none. And so if you're in a position where you're allowing your friends, your family, or yourself to talk shit about your ex, you're never going to move on. I promise you that. And so that's like, and it's one of the hardest things. Seriously, because it makes you feel so good in the moment. Fuck that bitch. She's stupid. She doesn't know what she's missing out on. Whatever. If you indulge in those behaviors, like, good luck. Seriously, I have no words for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think, to go back on your first point, and then, that other part too is just, so important. I mean, because especially it's Michaela, right? Yeah. Michaela Peterson example, especially extreme cases like that. Like, imagine you grow up with cancer, or like you grow up with a disability, right? And your own parent says to you, like, I don't care. Like, obviously, like, your situation is terrible, but you cannot use this to be a victim. You cannot use this to affect your life in ways that it actually doesn't affect it. Because there's so many people, especially that I know, that you know, and around the world, they'll take the tiniest thing, like, oh, my anxiety, oh, my ability to focus, oh, my ADHD, I'm fat. Like, you name it. The excuses go above and beyond. And the thing is, these problems aren't even that bad. They're easy fucking problems that they can solve at the flick of a finger. Like, okay, it might take some time to integrate new habits and behaviors. Yeah. But like you said, to make the choice to not use it as a crutch for them to be a victim, for them to justify why they can't do what they should do or live up to their potential or whatever. But imagine cases like yours, or even Michaela's, or even worse than Michaela's, and then for people to not use that as a crutch to justify them being a victim or justify why they deserve to be treated a certain way. That is, I mean, I have so much respect for people like that. And it's like, God damn, man. That is, talk about virtuous. Like, that's what I think of when I think of the word virtuous, because those are real people that are intrinsically motivated to not make excuses and to really put their best foot forward, regardless of what circumstances they're in. And I think Alex Hormozy says this. He says, the worse the story, the greater the hero.
Right.
And just like in those situations, the worse the situation, the greater the hero. And I think that is just so important, because I know I've done this a lot, use that as a crutch. I'm not saying currently, but like, use their conditions as a crutch to not do anything. And it's so easy because you could just say it and it's how you are. And then people, especially within our society, are so
no one's going to fight you.
Soft touch, aren't willing to challenge you, that they'll just agree with what you're saying and justify it back to you. And I know I'm not a person that really pushes back on things, and that's something I got to get better at, but it's really, really bad. And I think it's something within our society that really needs to change. And I think it's such a virtuous trait to have that can change your life for the better. 100%. And like you said in that second part too, not talking shit, right? About, not having your friends or family or anything like that not talk shit, because like you said, Rachel treated you great.
Right. And
not saying the things on this podcast that you did before that, before you guys got back together,
right.
For her to forgive you for that and then get into a relationship with you, right. and be willing to move into a relationship and, trying to make things work out for the best, even though, it ended up not working out. It's like, damn, man, she talk right. about not making excuses. Like, right. she's about it, and it's like you said, like, you may not ever find a girl that's going to be that willing to work with you,
of course,
on that level. And
easily,
whether you want to say that's, whether she should have done that or shouldn't have done that, like, either way, like, her ability to forgive you in that kind of situation is, at least in my opinion, like, I give a lot of respect for doing that, because I know if I was in her spot, I'd be like, nah, man, I'm good. Deuces.
Right.
But anyways, I think it was a point that you said there that, like, those people that are saying, fuck that girl, fuck that guy, like you said, they don't genuinely know who she is or he is, because you have that understanding, and they're just coming to you under the assumption that saying fuck that guy is just going to make you feel better. They're just trying to comfort you. But like you said, the best thing they can do in that moment in time is shut their mouth and let you grieve. It's as simple as that. And the more you try and dispel with these rumors about your ex that deep down inside aren't true, and you're just trying to egoically make yourself feel better, you're just going to prolong that grieving process, like you said, and it's literally only going to get worse. But yeah, man, seriously. Yeah. I think you've got a great head on your shoulders, and I think you know what you need to do, and I think you've got great people around you, and I think you had a healthy relationship that came to an end, and like, I mean, dude, I'm just, like, just you saying that alone, like, that makes me so grateful to have you in my life, because I'll introduce perspectives like that into my life, and I won't use that as a crutch. I won't use those situations as a way to make me feel like, oh, let me not work on the business tonight, or let me not go to the gym. I should grieve, like,
right.
And it's like, yeah, man, like, understand that you going through this is not only serving yourself, but serving a lot of people at the same time too. Because like you said, people are looking at you, right? And if you can share this message, for instance, with, these viewers or people around your circle, they're going to learn secondhand what to do in a relationship, and it's only going to make the world better. So
100%.
Your negative situation is actually a really positive one indirectly,
100%. And again, I'm not the fucking messiah. Like, I still am stupid and ignorant to a lot of things. Like, I'm not handling this perfectly by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I want that to be super clear. Like, I want that to be big star asterisk. I'm doing what I think is best, and a lot of times it's fucking stupid. Is what it is. There's something I wanted to touch on. You said, we were talking about the whole ex thing. If you allow your friends to talk shit about your ex because you think it's going to make you feel better, think about what it actually means. And I don't care how deeply confused you are, think about it. You dated that person for X amount of years, months, whatever. And now you're talking shit about that human being. You dated that person. Who is that a reflection of? If you dated a piece of shit, who is that a reflection of? And if you're still deeply confused, Sorry. You really don't understand. That's why it's so hard to move on when you keep talking shit about your ex. Because you dated the fucking idiot.
Taking accountability.
Idiots date other fucking idiots. And if you dated somebody who's shitty, and I understand, I have empathy for that, but if you dated someone who's shitty, and you're still talking shit about that person, you need to understand that shit attracts shit. I'm not saying what that person did to you or didn't do to you was right or wrong. All I'm saying is talking shit about your ex or enabling your friends and family or whoever to talk shit about your ex is only going to make your life actively worse because it is a direct reflection of your choices and your standards for yourself because you dated that person, especially if you dated that person for a long time. It's a direct reflection of you and how you feel about you. And that's why continue to talk shit about them will do nothing but make everything worse. Like, seriously. Especially if it's not true. Especially if you're making up bullshit to make yourself feel better. There's no winning a breakup. There is none. There's moving on and doing the best you can. Period.
Do you feel like talking shit about your partner is a crutch?
Of course. Of course. I mean, you're using it to make yourself feel better about your shitty decisions. Like, if you're out of shape and you're super fat, you're probably going to talk shit about how your ex was super toxic and played video games all day and didn't give you the time of day. Like, okay, maybe if you were attractive, you'd get the time of day, but you're not attractive because you make shitty decisions. Oh, but that's hard to talk about. Right. Or you could stop talking shit about your ex.
Take accountability.
Period.
Yeah.
How is it serving you? It's not. Of course not. Like, you made that choice.
I love you, man.
Love you too.
Good episode, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, those headphones are cooking.